You're listening to WeP3 Radio on the Foxhole Radio Network. Currently playing Ryan Weaver. Remember, I told you so.
Eyes on fire and the lights on you. You're frozen and don't know what to do. You can't think and then she corners you. She whispers sexy, nothing's in your ear. She tells you all the...
Left, your left, hey. Left, right, your left. You got it!
Truck it on.
Doctors, roll out. You're watching or listening to We Got Your 6 at 6 Patriot Playtime. We the people, the People's Patriot Project.
Looking for a place to put your skill set, your thoughts, and ideas, or want to help continue the mission? You have come to the right place. We are the People's Patriot Project, and we are the shock and awe when it comes to meeting the needs of our veterans and first responders. We are dealing with a new enemy in today's world where the wounds are not always seen. We want you to be a part of this mission in saving lives and making a difference. Welcome to We Got Your 6 at 6 Patriot Playtime. Here's the WeP3 Team bringing you today's best heroes hits in the boots on the ground organizations that are saving lives. And as always, Patriot Pride.
Left, your left, hey. Left, right, your left. You got it!
Truck it on.
Good evening. People's Patriot Project is here tonight, bringing you our happy and jolly We Got Your 6 at 6 show and podcast. Every week we bring you a guest. Many times we bring a new artist, and then we share all the good and sometimes not so good things that are happening in our world. This week we have some awesome guests. We've got Ms. Rachel Oswalt here, and she'll be sharing her story and some other stuff that she does. And then we have Mikele Buck joining us to bring us his story and some music tonight. Tonight we have some sponsors to mention. Just want to say, hey, Contagion Effect, greetings back at you. We've got Bottle Breacher brought to us with Mike Wall, who has created some incredible bottle openers that we still have a few left. We've got Catch 22 with Derek Iozio, Operation Texas Strong with Bobby and Peggy Kretzinger, Poem Speak with Stephen Bates, and our very own Kimmer Gwinner, who keeps me on my toes all the time. We also have a word tonight from Brian Kenzer with a message of support about how you can switch where you shop, and that allows you also to shop for American-made products while also helping fundraise for the People's Patriot Project. No more smile stuff. It is coming right to the People's Patriot Project instead of going through all of that. We're looking at Label 22 as well. I'm sure they'll be poking around tonight, but right now I'm going to open the floor to Mr. Brian Kenzer.
Hey, good evening, everybody. How you doing? I'm Brian Kenzer with Smart Living. I'm a veteran, first responder, patriot. And I partnered with the People's Patriot Project on Veterans Day last year with kind of a mission in mind, and that was to make sure they get enough funding to complete their mission. So I'm going to tell you a couple of truths first. First, I think most people know that they want to be healthier, live a longer, vibrant life. I think that's pretty much a given. And most people want to support the U.S. economy and make our economy stronger. Hopefully it fixes our economy and brings inflation down. Those are fact. Most of us here also want to support the People's Patriot Project. So we figured out a way through our partnership to do all three. And all we're asking you to do is come and take a look at it. No obligation, just have a look. So I'll put a post in the notes. You can check it out, short video, some information. Then you'll send me your contact information and we'll make arrangements to talk, or just reach out to Andrea. She can hook you up. So thanks for your time and enjoy the show.
Thank you, Brian. We'll hear from you again later. That's awesome. Brian Kenzer has, he's brought some light into my world along with picking some healthy things and having them delivered instead of running around to gather them. We've also got to know each other pretty well, and it has it's been a good friendship, some good bonding. Before we do start this week's show, we are going to share with you why we get to do this. Thank you to the service members and the first responders that have committed their time, sweat, blood, limbs, family, and life to give us the freedoms that we have that allow us to do what we do daily. Hence the beautiful green that you see around the People's Patriot Project world. Before starting this week's show, again, we're going to ask to take off your hats, stand and cover your heart if you can stand. Excuse me. Oh my gosh, I'm all out of order. Stand if you can and cover your heart and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Boom, here we go. Here
we are.
April 21st. I can't believe it's April to begin with, but it is what it is. We're here. We're doing it. We're getting her done. Making all these arrangements here. See if we get it all fixed. There we go. There we go. There we go. Welcome to the People's Patriot Project. We got your 6 at 6. Again, like I said, this is April 21st, and look at the amazing panel. It never ceases to amaze me. Every week we get to come here and share the amazing lives. Now, there's going to be some surprises that happen during the show, and I don't even know what they are yet. But the weird thing is, every time we've done one of our We Got Your 6 shows, something amazing happens during the show, and I don't want to let if you've watched the show enough, you kind of know how things fall into place. So we're just going to let it roll, see what happens, and then you can call me a liar at the end of the show when nothing amazing happens. So we'll deal with it when that comes. But first of all, I'd like to welcome and thank both Rachel and Mikele for being here. Thank you, guys. We know you're taking time out of your day to come and do this, and both of you have served, and both of you have a mission, and we know that stepping away from the mission that you're working on is sometimes difficult. For us, it's an absolute break, and we enjoy doing it because we get a break from the hard stuff that we're doing. But at the end of the day, I know it takes time away, and there's probably, if you're like us, there's a 1,000 other things you could be working on other than being here right now. So we appreciate both of you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I was just playing Madden before, so I wasn't really doing much of nothing.
Oh, Mikele, I tell you what, that's good for you, man. Good for you. Jonathan, what's in the news, brother?
I was on a different screen. Sorry. I don't have my news up yet. Hold on. Okay, here we go. April is the month of the military child. On average, a military child will move 6 to 9 times in the middle of a school year before graduating. It's estimated that since 2001, 2 million children have gone through a parent being deployed. Approximately 1.2 million people currently serving on active duty grew up as military children. 80% of these military kids are attending school in the United States, and 1/3 of all military kids attending school will show behavior such as anxiety, crying, or worrying while at school. These are extraordinary children, to say the least. They've known sacrifice and hardship for most of their lives, long before they've reached adulthood. So take a moment and recognize these sacrifices that they make, because the serviceman or woman are not the only ones who make sacrifices. April 22nd is In God We Trust Day. It came about as a law that U.S. Congress passed to affect the inscription of In God We Trust on U.S. coins on April 22nd in 1864. In God We Trust has appeared on the penny since 1909, the dime since 1916, and on all gold coins, silver dollars, half dollars, and quarters since 1908. In God We Trust is also the official motto of the United States since 1956, when it replaced E pluribus unum, which means out of many, one. And it had been the motto since 1776. April 23rd is the birthday of the Army Reserves. The Army Reserves will turn 116 years old. Army Reserve provides trained men to support leaders of the world at times of battle, as well as support civil authorities in the U.S. They have played an important role in nearly every major war since their inception. Nearly 190,000 Army Reserve soldiers and 11,000 civilians are present in all 50 states, 5 U.S. territories, and deployed to 23 countries around the world. The U.S. Army Reserve contain nearly half of the Army's maneuver support and 1/4 of its force mobilization capacity, and does that with only requiring about 6% of the total Army's budget. So, big shoes, the Army Reserve there. But that's the news for tonight.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And again, we want to make sure people understand. I mean, we support veterans, we support first responders, we support those that are enlisted, and we support those that didn't necessarily sign up for the mission. That's the spouses, the children, the loved ones of those that chose to serve. They didn't sign up for the mission, but you know what? On the daily, we got our police officers and firefighters leaving their homes, knowing or not knowing that they're going to come home safe. And at the end of the day, it's those young bucks that get to deal and be part of that secondary trauma. And, mommies and daddies don't always realize what they're laying down when they're having a moment. And that goes towards spouses, that goes towards the children, that goes towards other loved ones and family members. And so it is essential, in our opinion, that we are making sure that we're taking care of those brothers and sisters as well, because they are part of the mission. They're actually the glue that holds it all together at the end of the day. So Thank you. If you're in the home of a loved one that is serving, we appreciate you, and it doesn't go unnoticed. We know you are there. If there's ever a time that any of you need resources, help, or just a talk on the phone, reach out to any of us here with the People's Patriot Project, and we are here for you, with you, and about you. Thank you for your service. Rachel, you're here.
I am here.
We've been trying to get this done for a while.
I know.
We're excited to have you. It's good.
Thank
No, we appreciate it, man. That's when you're running your own stuff. We are very. I don't know if the right words forgive it, because you don't owe us nothing. We don't owe you nothing, but we want to give you the opportunity to share your mission and what you got going on in the world, and this is what makes everything that we do beautiful. So, tell us who you are. Tell us about your service, and tell us what your mission is.
Sounds good. So I am Rachel Oswalt. I am the host of Your Story Doesn't End Here, which is the military mental health podcast. Been doing that for almost 2.5 years now. I served 6.5 years in the Navy as an aviation electronics technician. I actually separated in 2021, so it doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but I guess a couple of years now. And I'm from the Midwest originally. I actually grew up in Iowa, born and raised. And military was never in my future plans. It was just kind of a spur of the moment thing, I guess is the best way to describe it. Initially in 2012, I actually ended up dropping out of the delayed entry program and then joining back into the delayed entry program 2 years later. Because they just needed people. They said I couldn't join again after the first time, but we all know there's waivers for everything. So, when they needed me, they hit me up. I joined at that time. And I was actually trying to go into spec war. I wanted to be an air rescue swimmer or a diver in the Navy. And I was so close to getting that, but it didn't end up panning out. I'm just not much of a runner. I was always a swimmer. And so the run time just wasn't there. Ultimately grateful I did not go into air crew, because most people I know that did air crew, they got migraines and all kinds of problems now from being up in high altitude so much. So not the worst thing in the world that I didn't go into anything dealing with an airplane, but did my 6.5 years. And one of the things that really stood out to me when I served is that the mental health care just was not hitting what it needed to hit. In that, there was also leadership that wasn't hitting the wickets that I felt that it needed to hit. And a lot of this I really didn't realize until I had already separated from service. I was very bitter a lot of the times that I was serving because of the leadership, because of the environment, the culture, and what I felt like was just a huge gap in the system when it came to mental health care. I lost a few friends to suicide. I dealt with my own mental health struggles, and it just felt like the help that I needed didn't exist. But I also saw so many people around me really struggling to feel like it was okay and it was safe for them to get the help they needed. And so a lot of these people just bottled it up inside, and they just kept going through the motions and dealt with it with alcohol, cigarettes, maybe, insert unhealthy coping mechanism here. And they just moved forward because they didn't want their mental health to impact their career. The stigma still heavily exists even today. And so when I was actually still active duty, I started a petition to the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy. And I said, hey, mental health in the Navy is not where it needs to be. Something needs to change. I did get a response from that. It was McPon Russell Smith at the time. He sent me an email response. He said, this is what we're working on. They had just started a walk-in clinic down in San Diego, and he kind of let me know that they were trying to work on some things, but I never really heard much after that. When I separated from the military is what spearheaded my efforts in the realm of military mental health. And I launched my podcast just a few months after separating. And it has just grown into this incredible platform where people are able to share their stories during service, before service, as a veteran, and providing inspiration to listeners, whether those listeners be affiliated with the military or not affiliated with the military. And I think what's the most beautiful about the podcast is that there are people who are active duty who are taking these stories and lessons, and they are using them to be a better leader in their service. So it is truly changing lives in service. And while I might not be able to go to the Pentagon right now and say, hey, we need a complete overhaul. This needs to change. We're taking those little strides one piece at a time, and it's making such a huge difference. And I'm super grateful for that.
Well, we appreciate you for A, your service, and B, for continuing the mission, knowing that and seeing that there was something out there that wasn't, kosher. I mean, the reality is, our entire population is dealing with social and emotional stuff. I don't want to call them disorders. I mean, it's not me to define that and or prescribe that, but we've got a lot of people, and it doesn't help when we've got those that have served that are dealing with additional things. You can call it traumas if you want, though. They're catalysts that skew someone's persona, and I just appreciate you saw that there was a need and a purpose, and you went after it. We do get to say, I will say, I mean, we don't necessarily coattail other shows and programs, but I do know that one of the original groups or podcasts that we saw you on was with Contagion Effect and Eric Mello, and what a great mission he's got going out there in California, and has nothing but good and positive things to say about Rachel and her programs. And so we wanted to make sure we got her on as well, and just to get this out there as much as possible. Thank you for all of the pieces that you've put into place, and we'll continue to talk here in a minute.
Yeah, thank you. And Contagion Effect is incredible. So they
Amazing
deserve all the
guys.
shout outs.
Absolutely. Mikele, same question to you, brother. Tell us about who you are, your service, and what, I mean, you have a mission. I don't know if you look at it that way, but I want to call it that way. We got to help the brother out here. I'm going to have you start over real quick because your mic was down.
Okay, is it up now?
Yep.
All right. My name is Mikele Buck. I served with the 458th Combat Engineer Battalion in Iraq with the 1st Cav Division. I was reserves first, and then, like everybody, got active duty. I got back in 2005. I've always played music. My mom and her family being from, Southern West Virginia and Kentucky bluegrass and gospel, so I was always around it, and played drums in high school, and just it's kind of born into music. I started writing songs at a really young age. Didn't really get serious about it till probably 19, 20, and ever since I came back, I just focused on that. Got a beautiful wife, 3 daughters, and just travel around the country playing my brand of country music. I've written a few songs that have to deal with my service overseas. I don't dwell on as much as some songwriters would, but I kind of felt like I had to put a few out there. So I wrote the song Irish Road about, I don't know, five years ago. Had a bad night one night, woke up about 4 a.m. and held a pen, and it kind of wrote itself. And so other than that, man, that's all I do is travel around, play music, deer hunt, and live life, So.
Tell us more about this Irish Road song.
Okay, so the 458th Combat Engineer Battalion, we were an IED sweep team. So we went and cleared routes. That was our battalion's mission. I was with the Alpha Company, and Route Irish at that time, at the beginning stages of that, I think it was between Biop and the Green Zone, we swept. Our company was in Fallujah, all over, because when we first got there, we were literally looking for bombs and soft skin Humvees, because our government gives us what we need to fight a war. We didn't know what we were doing. We were going looking for bombs on the side of the road. And Irish Road at that point, of course, it's a main transport route of communications, of brass, of supply route, and it was only like 7.5 miles long, but it got hairy. You know what I mean? Every time they'd say we're going to sweep Route Irish, everybody kind of like, shit, we got to go do this road. Just after seeing people lose lives on it and stuff like that, later on wrote the song. And I've never been a songwriter to write, I don't know how to say, like your Toby Keith's Go America songs. I never cared for that kind of songwriting. I always liked a little deeper. If it's about something that important, I feel like it needs to be a little bit more thought out, more deeper. So we released it, and then my good friend over at Radio WV, Draven Rife, that I'm sure y'all heard the Oliver Anthony song.
Yep.
Draven started that channel 4 or 5 years ago. We were actually fishing the Greenbrier River, and he came up with the idea. He wanted to start a little YouTube thing to let people hear voices that Nashville just would not sign, out of the normal. And that was the first 2 videos on it, but we just re-released that, another video of Irish Road, and it's kind of taken off, and the streams have went up on it. So it's kind of revamped that song. I never thought it got enough traction when I first put it out. So, and then a lot of people, if you listen to it and you're not a veteran or you don't know me, you probably don't know what the song's about, So, he wanted to do a video to explain it more. So he put the storyline of Route Irish and what we did in front of the performance, and took off. I think it went like 2 million on Facebook in like a week or so, or a month or so, or whatever it was. So it's getting out there more and more, which is cool, because I always wanted it to reach more people. And the amount of people that's hit me up the past just month that never got there, because we released it in, I think, 2019 on my first EP. And like I said, at that point, that was my first record out. I didn't know nothing about playlisting or anything like that. So I'm just glad it's got traction here, and everybody's just emailing me, guys that were over there, guys that been through what we've been through, and just sharing stories with it and stuff. Like, just people bombarded me with messages. So it's pretty cool that it's touched that many people. You know what I mean? So
absolutely. Well, and anything, just to put this out there, anything we play tonight, and anything that Mikele has that he wants to put out there, we throw up on WeP3 Radio. It plays daily. Everyone can go out there. It's as simple as looking up WeP3 Radio, and it's on Foxco Radio Network. We're actually in the process of doing some collaboration to move that to some more, I don't know how to say it, but real radio stations right now. I got to wait to hold out that announcement right now, but we have the opportunity to go to 180 radio stations right now, and we're pretty excited about that. So we do that for our veterans and our first responder musicians, and make sure that they get their content and their materials out, and we can move them up into a higher bracket of their radio play and real life downstream time. And that's how they feed their families. So right now we got Mikele Buck with Irish Road.
Spun around in resurrection, laying rest to wayward souls. We never saw our future, only memories to hold of a place much rich and greener. I left my West Virginia home. I gambled all I had away to walk down the Irish Road. Well, this place is dry and barren, but they say Jesus walked these streets. Keep a Bible right beside my head each night when I'm asleep. Well, I used to not believe it, but Mama prayed to save my soul. 'Cause Lucifer's alive and well, he lives down the Irish Road. control. Once what was a heart of gold is now as black as coal. And I still see all the faces I laid beneath the cobblestone. Each night they come and haunt me from down the Irish road. Set fire to Armageddon, I rained the brass down in the sand, and he cried out for Janie as he reached and took my hand. But now the piper man's blowing while the angels take him home. St. Michael lost another son down the Irish road. Pray St. Bridget, come and save me before the devil takes control. Once what was a heart of gold is now as black as coal. And I swear I see the faces I laid beneath the cobblestones. Each night they come and haunt me from down the Irish road. Every night they come and haunt me from down the Irish road.
I don't think you need to know the story and your background, brother. I think that song nails it right on the head, and it's a great listening song, brother.
Thank you, man. Like I said, I held the pen on that one. That's one of the ones that came from, I think, somewhere else. You know what I mean? One of the ones that God chose me to write it. And
so there's our first one. That's the whole thing. Earlier we said that something special would happen during the show, and then just the fact that you said you held the pen, that you were inspired, you were driven, you were put into a place to. That's it. It's done, and that's we appreciate you. Man.
The song came. The second verse is it's when we got back to the stateside. Our medic was. We had a few drinks, and he was there when we lost our friend Thomas Kaufman, and I actually wasn't on that mission, and it's more of his side of the story from what happened that night. And so shout out to all the medics out there, because that's, I think, most difficult job in the military to deal with as a combat medic.
So tell us about tell us about the person you just mentioned to us.
Oh, Thomas Kaufman, he was 19. He was from Lexington, South Carolina. And to be honest with you, I don't think it was Route Irish that he got killed on. It was close to it. I'm not, my memory's hazy when it comes to the details about that place over there. But, he was with our group, 458. And, they got ambushed outside city one night, and concussion from a RPG took his life, ended at 19. And our medic Horn was trying to revive him. Of course, when we got back to stateside, he broke down, and we all knew how it happened, what the details of what went on. But I was just glad I could put it in a song for him, because it's something he's got to constantly live with. So it's just I was just glad to do it. Glad to put it in words for him, because not everybody. I'm lucky, you know. When I came home, I had a little bit of God given talent, and a lot of guys don't have nothing they can dive their time into, and it, you know, I still suffer from stuff, but like I'm able to be creative and keeping busy is the main thing. I tell people just to keep busy and keep moving forward, and you know, live the life, because nobody that we lost over there wants us to be moping and sad and everything like that. You know, you kind of got to live for those guys because they don't get to. So I always kind of take it like that, and whether it be music or my hunting, we take guys hunting that, you know, veterans. I think that's one of the best things people can get into too is any kind of hunting, any kind of outdoor life. I mean, there's tons of veterans that started groups that take other veterans outdoors and just hunting, fishing, whatever. And it's a lifesaver for a lot of us. You know what I mean? So.
Well, we appreciate you. And again, our second amazing opportunity of today is remember, it's Thomas Kaufman. If you guys are listening today, we always ask you we give you little trinkets and pieces to follow through on, and give you mission capable missions that you're capable of doing. I write Thomas Kaufman down and remember his name. Thank you for his service.
Actually, I had to sing that song for his mom, which was one of the, you know, I was like, please don't make me do that. But they came to a show one time, and I was like, whoo, that was a tough one. But they've been to several shows over the years, and great people. They're down in South Carolina still, and she's well involved with helping other moms and other parents and siblings and stuff. You know, they're just great people. So, like I said, good to know them and good to know him. So,
yeah. And thank you for being listening and active to the mission, man. That's I can't imagine how much comfort you have brought that family, and they don't deserve. I mean, I don't say this egregiously. They don't deserve comfort knowing what they've gone through and lost and stuff like that. But just the fact that his brothers have been there and even write a note in his name, and that you help support that family who did sign up for the mission as well. So thank you, brother. Rachel,
I had to unmute myself again there.
you tell us what you're working on right now. What are you getting done? How can we support you?
Yeah, so what I'm working on, a lot of it is local here in Whidbey Island, Washington. And when I thought of what would make the biggest impact as far as taking action, the podcast, you know, I always say when it comes to support, just talking about sharing the podcast is huge. And that's something that anyone can do. And it's simple. It gets the word out there to the people who need to hear it the most. As far as what I am tangibly doing in my community is I am spearheading a movement in the community to help with veteran reintegration and transition. I live in the county in Washington that has the highest amount of veterans per capita, and the services, there's just a huge lack of connection. There's a barrier to entry here. And so when I thought of what I can do to make the biggest impact on mental health of not only veterans, but also active duty and families, working on helping with that transition and reintegration into the community process was huge. I actually got connected with a group from San Diego, Maurice Wilson and Vic Martin. They're with the San Diego Veterans Coalition, incredible people. And they created this model called the CMVR model. It stands for Center for Military and Veterans Reintegration. And it is a model that they are working to make a national model to really successfully reintegrate veterans back into communities. Because the idea is that transition is the responsibility of the military, but reintegration is the responsibility of the community. And so many veterans separate from service and, you know, really lose that sense of purpose and maybe don't feel at home in their communities or don't feel welcome in their communities or just lose that connection, you know, et cetera. There's so many different things that hit us veterans all at once, whether we served combat, outside of combat, served for 4 years or 20 years. I think that all of us veterans go through some kind of journey when we separate from service. And so that's really what I'm working on here locally, is just spearheading that movement of supporting veterans as they separate from service and reintegrate back into communities.
How do you get the word out so people can find you?
So I am on social media. I've been terrible at staying consistent on posting on social media because, as you alluded to earlier, I'm doing mostly everything myself. And so still working on trying to figure out the best way to stay consistent there. But I have decided to focus on YouTube this year. So YouTube is the platform that I'm really trying to build up the most right now. And it's been great so far. It's been interesting. Putting myself out there on video more than just an audio platform. But I do have an Instagram. I also have Facebook. Most of my handles are either YSDEH or _ YSDEH.
Excellent. Excellent. I don't have a great answer in helping in that area of being consistent and getting stuff to social media. What we did have to do, and I just want to share this because this gives me a chance to shout out to we went through the University of Minnesota, the Carlson School of Management here, and we were able to get an intern come on board. And Miss Callie Korth is going to move mountains. We get her for a short period of time, but she's just been doing an amazing job. Young lady actually from Wisconsin here in Minnesota. Looks like she's going to be transplanted closer to you over in Idaho. We know the ends of where she's going, what she's doing, but she's it's just awesome to see a young lady who has the passion, the drive, and what she's done for the People's Patriot Project. And she'll do amazing things in this world. And we would just want to say thank you, Callie Korth, again for all of what you've done.
Awesome.
Yeah, and Joan Hindle here shouting you out here real quick.
That's my mom.
Oh, it is. Mom's got to say something like that, right?
I did want to do one quick shout out, if that's okay, to another group here in the Pacific Northwest. I saw Josh Wielden was watching. I saw his name pop in the comments, but the PNW Veterans Coalition. For anyone that is listening to this that is in the Pacific Northwest, I believe this is expanded outside of Washington into Oregon. And I know Josh has really big dreams with this, but what it's created is just this incredible community of veterans to just support each other, network, hang out in a place that has really touched so many lives of veterans who really need that community after service. And so I wanted to shout that out because it's an incredible organization. There's a coalition, and it feels like every county of Washington up the I-5 corridor. And yeah, the PNW Vets page is where everyone can connect with that. But incredible thing.
Joshua, let's make sure we connect and get you on the People's Patriot Project. We got your 6 at 6. And again, we connect this network across the entire country. We believe that collaboration and transparency are two of the largest, biggest, strongest pillars of making this happen. It doesn't always work great. It's not always just all warm feelies inside all the time, but it is. We have roughly 46,000 organizations across this country saying they're helping veterans and first responders. And I can't give you exact data, but I can tell you my perspective is that less than 10% of those organizations are actually doing what they say they're doing. And all of us are biting for the same resources, the same funding to make sure we're helping with veterans and first responders. And here in the state of Minnesota, I have a legislator telling me that roughly $80 million a year goes back in legacy funds because no one's requesting them. And I'm like, well, we've been requesting these funds for 5-8 years now, and I don't know how else. And so we'll keep battling the battle and make sure you're holding your brothers and sisters. Sometimes you got to lift them up. Sometimes you got to pull them along. And sometimes it's okay to hold them accountable. And those are all different features in how we support our veterans and our first responders. Rachel, keep doing the great work. We ain't done with you yet tonight. Okay.
Thank you.
Mikele, do you listen to other veteran or first responder musicians?
I I know a few that if somebody sends me their music and stuff, but like I don't know anybody personally around.
Okay.
I mean, the thing about touring and playing, because I've been full time for I don't know 7-8 years now. I got my degree and then never went back to work because I was just making this work for me, and through the grace of God, all my songs streamed very well, and we went on a tour the country. I was actually out in Minnesota last year playing a rodeo. We played out there, Minnesota, South Dakota, North Dakota. Did a 3 or 4 show run out there.
What rodeo? Do you know what rodeo you played here in Minnesota?
I'd have to look back at my little advertisements. Yeah, my memory's cool, man.
Was it summertime or wintertime?
It'd be summertime because I ain't coming out there in the winter. No, I mean, I'll come out there and hunt and do it, but I'm not driving a van and trailer, touring in the winter out in the Dakotas and Minnesota.
Simmer down.
No, like, no, I'm not. It's just that's just wanting to be stuck out in the middle of nowhere, stranded in a 2-wheel drive. That is. So you got to tour smart. I want to say it was closer to fall if I can remember right, because that's usually rodeo. It was a big one. I wish I knew. I'd have to look back. I'm horrible at being prepared for anything.
You're fine. We're good.
But yeah, there's a few I know. Like I wrote a song called "Easy Go" with a guy stationed down here at Havelock, Mike Lanini. He's living out in Arkansas now. He's out, but he's falls around shows. Told me he was a songwriter. Of course, he was active at that time, and it's a funny story because he ended up getting in a fight for us at this club with these frat guys, and there was like 10 of them, and only 2 him and his buddies came, and it was funny how it happened. I was like, well, come to the house and write a song, and that one actually made my first record. So I know several bands around here that are local, that Marine Corps, Navy guys that just are still active, playing around the clubs around Eastern North Carolina, Virginia, and South Carolina, stuff like that. So there's a ton of them. I don't know anybody that's offhand that's like in my realm of what I'm paying attention to.
Sure, no, I get it. And
I listen. They playlist us on like Texas, Spotify. Nashville says I'm to Texas, and I'm from West Virginia. You get labeled, but I'll take it because I love Texas country music, Oklahoma out west. You know what I mean? Like Cody Johnson, Randy Rogers Band. Those are some of my biggest stuff I listen to. Turnpike Troubadours.
Sure.
I've never been a huge Nashville person, so
you resemble uncannily one of the artists that work in our network, and we won't share it on air, but I'll send you a song later. And
big redneck with beard.
No. He's a Nashville guy that we love hanging around too. But that's the whole thing. This beard culture that is spurred since everyone has left their service does
because we don't want to shave. Right. I was telling somebody the other day. I used to be able. I remember basic training. The little big razors that you get like 3. I used to not even put shaving cream on, and I could do it every morning and look, all chisel jaw and stuff, and then and never break out my skin at all. But now, like, I just look at a razor, I get razor burn, and you got horrible. But when I got home, I had to shave because I worked for a sheriff's department for about 6 months in Pitt County,
sure.
And I was like, man, this is miserable. I didn't want to shave anymore. So my middle daughter's 13 and my youngest is almost 7, and they've never seen me without a beard.
I've gone to a goatee, but I don't think my children of 23 years have ever seen me without facial hair either.
It's man makeup.
Well, they might have, because I got IETS in 2003, so 2002. They would have seen me for 2 years, but they won't remember that. That's
yeah.
So, well, we got two other songs lined up for you. In Come You and Her Again. What you thinking?
Oh, do Her Again. That's the brand new single. I don't know how y'all feel about. I might have been under influence of something when I wrote it, and it's I always want to write one of them Glenn Campbell kind of gentle on my mind type country songs. I love that old school, like just going with the flow type stuff. And I had a song in my head that I wanted to write, and I don't drink a lot, but I do other stuff that grows from the ground anyway. You know what I mean? And I might have bitten off a little bit more of that than it was supposed to, and just sat down and came up with it. And I really I didn't think anybody was going to like it, and it's streamed really well. It made Texas Country Now playlist, but it's like I said, I always like to write not so much straightforward all the time. You know what I mean? My favorite writers are people like Zach Brown that can write like a party song and like write a deeper, like, colder weather song. Not so much party in a tailgate in my truck, my beer and all the stuff. That's, I like those too, but I like the deeper kind of the cuts too. So this is a song about heartache. So I just turned it into what it came out. I was basically feeling pretty good, and I just basically wrote about it. I don't know how else to explain it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
This is Mikele Buck with Her Again.
I can see in all emotions like I'm walking through 1,000 different daydreams. Like a feather in the wind, gives my memory a spin, to thinking how I love to hear the blue jays sing. It's got me feeling like this highway, and I'm never knowing where the road will end. And it reminds me that I never came home, and leads me right back to her again. Ain't there beauty in a heartbreak? The whiskey just won't let you taste. And there's something about her memory the smoke just don't erase. Ain't no getting around a sad goodbye if the heart don't want to mend. It reminds me that I never came home, and leads me right back to her again. I'm a drifter like the ocean, and the thoughts keep crashing by like the waves. I promised her I'd love her forever, but never promised her I'd stay. It's hard to paint the way I'm feeling now. I can only tell the story from the end. And that's a part of me that can never go home, and lead me right back to her again. Ain't there beauty in a heartbreak? The whiskey just won't let you taste. And there's something about a memory smoke just won't erase. Ain't no getting around a sad goodbye if the heart don't want to mend. And there's a part of me that can never go home, and lead me right back to her again. And that's a part of me that can never go home, and lead me right back to her again.
We're here. I'm just struggling to get this off the screen. I apologize. Andrea's
That got me
comments.
going.
A toe tapper. It is a toe tapper. It is that purist song that you talk about, and I appreciate it. Miss Eichmann was she did a little research, found out you're at Park Rapids in 2022.
That's what it was, yeah. But not last year. Yeah, it all runs together.
I get it. I get it.
Park Rapids, that's what, that was a fun time. Yeah.
Excellent. Good job, Andrea.
It wasn't hard. It's easy. Creepers got to creep. I can do it.
Creepers got it for sure. For sure. Miss Kimmer, you got something for us tonight?
I don't know if I can follow that song up, man. That really got me pumping. But I'll try. It's called The Back Seat. I have something to confess, that deep down I am a mess. It no longer hurts my pride to share with you what's inside. And please know that there is pain, but I haven't totally lost it. I believe I'm still sane. I may struggle, but at least I try. And truth be known, I'm willing to cry. It's a part of me that I haven't exposed. I'm reaching out, only heaven knows who will be there with me when I let go, but it will be someone I trust, not a foe. I don't know how I will feel, but I can tell you it will be real. And if I were to ask for a hug, please know it's my new anti-drug. Heartfelt, natural, and pure. Who knows, it just may be the cure, or something close to that effect. But there's something I wish to collect from myself, this experience that I will gain, so it won't take me a lifetime to try again. I hope it helps to heal my wounds and scars and to give birth to those yet unseen stars. No, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I hope this will end my drought because my life doesn't yet seem complete, but I'm tired of riding through it in the back seat.
And we got to talk about another special moment. Miss Kimmer always brings amazing. If you want to see and read and hear more about what she does, you can get this. Now, I want you to see this. It's a phone book of material, and it is absolutely full of life stuff and her story and her mission, and it is full. She's got several books out. Make sure you reach out. We'll get you lined up. We'll get you taken care of, and we are inspired absolutely every single weekend with the words of Miss Kimmer, and it always just puts me in awe that every week we don't require her to do this. She just has it. And last week's poem was like on the hop right from the show, and she put it together, and it was amazing. And it fits every single time. And if you're looking for the opportunity, we changed some of our vernacular in the past from let's go to let's grow. If you're looking for an opportunity to grow, stay around, stick around. We're here for you. We've got materials for you. We have resources for you. We have connections for you. We can get you all the things you need, regardless of what your need is. We have people regularly reaching out to us. I'm not going to be able to give a brand new car to everyone. That's going to be the truth. But we have been able to go out and find cars for people that needed them at the last minute. And we've been putting people into homes down in Texas, Florida, and Louisiana, because we have some great partnerships with other organizations. If you have legal needs and issues and you think that there's something that you can, a resource, reach out. We got it across the country. And we've absolutely been ecstatic doing every part of this. Rachel, what's next for you?
Oh, I feel like I'm in this part of my life right now where I'm going through kind of a quarter life crisis and just trying to figure out what exactly is next for me. For the first part of the year, I really thought that I wanted to get into public speaking, and I still do to a point, probably just not as large as I had initially envisioned it. I applied to be part of a panel at the Military Influencers Conference later this year, so hopefully that pans out. But mainly my focus right now is just growing on YouTube and getting more into the creator space. And just dedicating more time to that. And to be completely honest, while I'm putting a lot of time into, the initiatives for veterans and everything that I'm doing in that space, I'm really focused on getting back to focusing on self-care and myself too, because I've let a lot of that go since I left the military. And so that's been a huge focus for me. I told you earlier, I'm doing 75 hard right now. And so that is just me getting back to me. And so I haven't really thought too far into the future ahead of that right now, as I'm just trying to kind of wind myself back to the person that I am, and a lot of self-discovery right now.
I love it. And here's the deal. I'm going to celebrate with you for this moment, because you got to find that place. You got to find that moment. And you know what? I know that superheroes always want to wear the cape and always want to carry the weight of the world on them. But each and every one of the people on the screen, I can't speak for Mikele yet, but has experienced a moment, a week, a month where there's you're not feeling the wholeness you want to feel. And it just takes a little bit of time of not carrying everyone else's load and stepping back, taking your breath, and recalibrating. Yeah. And again, meet your brothers and sisters with a little bit of grace, and be there for them. And we'll have some call to actions here in a bit that will help you get some of those pieces done. Rachel, if you need anything, please make sure you reach out to us, and
absolutely,
we're here for you.
Thank you.
Mikele, what's next for you, brother?
Oh, hostile takeovers. No, definitely more content this year. I've had success with streaming and getting out there and running this music industry, doing it my own way, which is great in a way and horrible in another. But I'm not good at content. I'm horrible at it. So this year we're focusing on more like live studio recording stuff, like videos to do the YouTubes and the TikToks, and working on finishing, because we just released 3 songs and the album was supposed to be completed by now, but unfortunately when you tour, stuff breaks, so transmissions and trailers later, when you're doing it all by yourself. So yeah, content, because I've had people come up to me literally and like tell me, man, you crushed that Mikele Buck songs you did tonight. And I'm like, I'm him. It's happened more times than I can count, because people hear it in the trucks with their buddies. Oh, I like that Mikele Buck, man. And then they'll be at a show, just happened to, man, you killed that. You sound just like that guy. I'm like, I'm him. And they're like, oh, but because so many people everything's visual, 60 seconds, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, whatever, everything's in visual. And if you can't tell, I'm completely uncomfortable in front of a camera. I hate it. But that, and just killing big bucks with my bow. Hopefully, I'm supposed to be in Missouri. I'm gonna try to hunt down there. I'd love to get out to Wisconsin. I enjoy hunting. Hunting as a veteran, I've hunted all my life, and then I went for years after I came back. I shot a deer with a rifle when I came back, and absolutely no feeling whatsoever about it. No adrenaline pump, nothing. And then I got back into bow hunting about 5 or 6 years ago, and I tell people I'm a bow hunter with a hobby of playing country music, because now I live my life to see how many places I can play and hunt at the same time. And I encourage a lot of guys to get into, especially veterans, get into the outdoors, get into bow hunting. When you're bow hunting, like especially public land or anything, whether it be elk, whitetails, whatever. I mean, most people have access to whitetails or turkeys or something like that, but it gives you a sense of mission. You put a backpack on and go walk public land, and it almost feel like you're back in training, and you're sneaking around, you're doing, and it's I just had two of my Iraq buddies come down to my farm in West Virginia. We went turkey hunting for 2 or 3 days. I go up there in Pennsylvania and hunt with those guys every year for the past 4 years. They had a camp going, and finally talked me into coming. So now I just encourage other veterans to get off your couch and go lift a weight or two. And I am, I do dabble. There's another Marine vet down in Texas. I'm not going to say name because it's just getting off the ground, but he's an advocate for certain ways of healing. If you watch other podcasts, there's been several, of the bigger, the Marcus Trails and all that caliber of guys down there doing the treatment with psychedelics to heal PTSD. So we're getting into that. He's starting an organization down there fighting for the rights to do that, because there's been a bunch of evidence that it's very helpful instead of just SSRIs thrown to you from the VA that I believe are not great for what we've suffered from. And I don't want to dive into that whole. I know it's a big argument, but like there's other ways of healing that are out there, and I encourage people to look into it because I know for a fact it's helped me. So
I appreciate you bringing it up, and you can get in deep as you want into this because it's a piece that I think our veterans and first responders need to hear. There's some things that we've had several guests over the year come on. One of our musicians as well, Brandon Mills, has a song about his first hallucinogenic episode, in the fact that he went through a licensed shaman and he was a U.S. Army sniper, and he went through this, and he vouches to this day that it's something that completely changed him in the right direction, and he's not had to deal with many of those ghosts and demons since he did the microdosing. And I mean, we've got brothers and sisters that are stuck on these cocktails prescribed to them in whatever program is prescribing. I mean, we can point fingers and stuff, it doesn't matter. They're asking, they're begging, I need to come off this. And I know some that have gone cold turkey and have been amazingly successful. I wouldn't recommend that to our brothers and sisters. I mean, there is a science to it, but there are medical professionals that are out there that will lead you in the right direction and will help you get off these cocktails and move you to more whole process. And so, I'm all about that.
When there's Medal of Honor recipients that go down there and do it and tells you it completely healed them for the most part, I know several stories. Rogan has put it up there about it. And my friend Justin LaPree down in Texas, he's an advocate for it down there. And I plan on diving deeper in that with him and helping him out. And, I just think it's an option for people instead of SSRIs that I personally think lead to soldier suicide.
Absolutely. Joshua, thanks for being here, brother. We appreciate you. Keep up the good work out there. We'll talk soon. Got the info written down. I think Rachel will help us too if we need any more information.
He's connected to Minnesota. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox tattoos.
Well, he can't be any worse than being related to Iowa in some nature, and I got two of you on here now, so what the heck. Rachel, do you know that Andrea is from that place of the demon?
I did not know that, but now I do. I've been meeting a lot of Iowans lately, but mostly outside of Iowa because I only get back there maybe once every 2 years.
Don't blame you.
Be proud this year that the women's basketball team.
Caitlin's, are you an Iowa Hawkeye fan or Iowa State fan?
I never really fully committed. My sister went to Iowa, University of Iowa, and I always had bad experiences, like life experiences at Iowa State. So I'm probably going to lean more towards the Hawkeyes. on that one, but I was never one of those like die hard pick one or the other.
It's been fun watching what Caitlin has done down there for the Hawkeyes and has done for women's sports across the country too. It's almost embarrassing to watch what her first round draft pick salary is compared to men's basketball. And it's like, wow, we do need to change that. But I guarantee you this is what's going to happen. People are going to start watching. They're going to start supporting. And those women will be taken care of a little bit better and a little bit more. So keep up the good work, peeps. Mikele, you got one more song here, brother.
Which one is it?
It is. This is the secret one. You said pick.
In came.
It is In Come You.
In Came You. Yeah, that's my first song I wrote. I did not write that. I recorded. It's a long story about who all wrote it, but it ended up being 3 guys on it that are really good friends of mine, and I heard them play it. We did a like a fundraising Christmas tour, singer-songwriter tour around South Carolina, North Carolina, Charlotte area down that way. And my buddy Tyler Hatley actually recorded it first. And again, Radio WV put it out, and my producer heard it. He's like, "You got to do this." So I called Todd and them, and they were like, "Hell yeah, go ahead." And as it became it was the second song I've had to go into millions just on Spotify, which I don't know how any of them have. I've been lucky, but yeah, it was such a good country song that I was just playing it at shows because I thought it was such a well-written song by those guys, and ended up being one of the most ones I'm known for everywhere. Like we go to I remember we played in New Mexico, and there was people singing along to it. I was like, wow, this is crazy, the power of the internet, and you know what I mean? So shout out to Corey Hunt, Todd Allman, and Greg Payne, and a couple other guys on that right too that started it, and then they handed it off to them guys. It's a weird story of how the song was written, but I was just glad I got to record it because it's been a good one for us. So
this is Mikele Buck with In Came You.
I was lost in a bottle, swimming in the women, making up a new definition of sin, and I was feeling pretty good about some pretty bad living. I was running wild, and I'd push it to the limit, any way you spin it. Whiskey in a well, hell, I'd probably jump in it. It's a beautiful thing when you come out grinning on the other side. And I hitched a ride with the devil, Lord, I got down on his level. Even showed him a couple things that he didn't know. I spent the last 5 years searching for a song in an empty bottle. I had lines, but none that I should use. Then in came you. I had my buddies, I thought were my buddies, spending my time, we were smoking up my money. Yeah, it ain't funny, nobody loves you when your money's gone. Yeah, I had my lovers, Lord, I had my lovers, watch them come and go one after another. I was looking for love underneath the covers, I had it all wrong. It's to ride with the devil, I got down on his level. I even showed him a couple things that he didn't know. I spent the last 5 years searching for a song in an empty bottle. I had lines, but none that I could use. searching for a song in an empty bottle. I had lines, but none that I should use. And in came you. In came you. I was lost in a bottle, swimming in women, making up a new definition of sin, and I was feeling pretty good about some pretty bad living. I was running wild.
I just love the roundedness of 3 different songs, significantly different styles, and all of them I would put on a playlist. All of them are, I mean, you're going to hear Mr. Mikele Buck on WeP3 Radio. We're going to get all your stuff up there on the radio so it gets played regularly, brother. It's sometimes I get stuck doing about 8 times at once, and I have an intern asking me how to do our Parade of Heroes event coming up, and I'm like, oh, you're gonna have to wait a little bit. Pretty awesome song, love it. Facebook user, wish we knew who you were. You can let us know who you are. We'll give you the shout out. We're at that point in time in the show where we do our call of action. We got a couple of them. We ask you to remember Mr. Thomas Kaufman today. We've also recently been asking you to put a post-it note somewhere in your space that says, what are you doing? And reflect. What are you doing? I mean, are you doing something that's good for yourself? Are you doing something that's good for others? Are you doing something? What are you doing? How are you part of the mission? Where are you going? Where are you growing? Where are you going? And we just need you to have that personal reflection. Mikele said earlier, we need you to get off the couch. We need you to get out and go hunting. We need you to get out and come to one of our music festivals or one of the events that gets put on, so you know that there's other brothers and sisters that are dealing with the same kind of stuff that you may or may not be dealing. Not everyone's going to deal exactly the same with the same exact stuff. Here's our biggest call to action. Everyone's got one of these in their presence, around them, by them. We've heard the narrative several times during this show, but this is for everyone who hasn't heard it. We've got brothers and sisters that come on and do push-ups to bring recognition. And we got brothers and sisters that come on and say, forget the push-ups, they don't do anything. First of all, don't worry about what others are doing. Worry about what you're doing. Okay? If they like doing their push-ups, let them do their push-ups. If they want to go do their 10-mile ruck march or more, let them go do that. What are you doing? And this is something I got. We developed this, a couple years ago. Take and type in, I was just thinking about you, and copy it. And then turn around and go and send that to 6 people in your contact list. Now, yes, we are veteran and first responder first. That's what we do. But we do live in the time and space and age where we have social disorders, emotional disorders, all kinds of things just plaguing people across the country. So I don't personally care if you're reaching out to veterans and first responders. I'm asking you reach out to 6 people and just say, I'm thinking about you. I guarantee you it makes a change. We've heard people get back to us and said, we've made a change. And so I do challenge you to reach out to one of those relationships in your life that you didn't think was recoverable. Something happened. Now, I'm not telling you, everyone chuckles when I say this, not asking to reach out to your ex-wife or your your ex-boyfriend or any of that stuff. That's not the one I'm asking you to fix. You had the chance to do that at one other point. I mean, if that's the one, do it. Fine, great, grand, do it. But reach out to that one that, and the reason why I say this, because I live with it with myself. I have a brother that was very important to me in my life, and I literally watched him drink himself to death because I didn't stand up and put some action into it. And that's on me. I don't go to sleep worrying about it at night. I've dealt with it. At the end, he was in charge of his decisions, but I didn't do everything I needed to do as a brother. And before we get to, well, we'll include it in because Mr. Daniels wants to know. We're going to do everything in closing. We'll have Jonathan go first about some concept, some idea, something that spurred you or inspired you tonight. But I'd like you to start off with your favorite taco because Jeremy wants to know.
Chicken. It's got to be chicken, man. It's the meat. It's the steak of everything. I love chicken. We don't have to argue about it. I'll eat your tacos too. It's fine. I eat them all, but I want chicken. Tonight, I don't know. It's just something that was on my mind, but I wrote down, out of pain and suffering can come the most beautiful parts of healing. It's the healing that transcends the person that is intended for, and you get to become the conduit of healing for others, and it's passed on to more people. But you have to accept that healing first. You have to accept and do what it takes and go through the processes and the pain and the suffering and all of that to get to that point. But through doing that, you can become the conduit to heal others. So just something that was on my head.
Mikele, favorite taco and any inspiring thought of word tonight?
My favorite tacos are anywhere that you see a rundown little taco truck stand that looks like it's about 30 years old in Texas. It usually has the best food. And but mostly I like fish tacos. I did eat some catfish tacos down in Louisiana one time. They were great. And what was the second part? You had me thinking about tacos.
I got you. I got you hooked up on that. This is the first time we've ever done this, for the record. What? Just final words, anything that inspired you through the show, any thoughts?
Well, first of all, I want to thank y'all so much for having me on. That's the main thing. Great to meet you. Thank you for what you're doing. Being busy and self-absorbed as a musician as I am, it's I feel like sometimes that I don't get to get on these forums and give back as much as I need to. Secondly, what I do is show my brothers that I know personally. We have Facebook pages and whatever. Sometimes we forget that that tough love is needed. So I hear so many people, I'm having a bad week. I'm having this. I'm having that. I'm having that. There's nothing wrong with being proud that we were soldiers, or proud that we served, or proud of our past. But I see so many people that, like, I don't wear shirts with machine guns on them, and I don't post pictures of all my time in Iraq, and I don't, because if you truly want to leave it behind, you truly want to move on with your life, sometimes you just have to move to hell on. You have to suck it up, buttercup, and move to hell on. And you can't do that with you you're personally reminding of yourself of those times. And I think we don't tell each other that enough. Hey man, nothing wrong with wearing battle scars. We were warriors, and wear that as a scar. Be proud of it. You know what I mean? But you can't let it beat you, because then you become not a warrior. We're still warriors, but there's so much more in life that you can be proud of. If you're a truck driver, be proud that you're a truck driver. I hope I'm getting that across. You know what I mean? Don't let your brothers and sisters, let's not feel completely sorry for them. Let's give them tough love a little bit and help them move, because sometimes we need it. You know what I mean? We were told what to do, what to wear, how to fit, for so many years, that I think that's needed still. Hey, get off your ass, go to the gym, go fishing with your kids, snap out of it. Life goes on. You know what I mean? And I don't expect that from civilians at all, but we can tell each other that. You know what I mean? I think it's needed. If you have somebody, reach out to them, like you said, how you doing, man, like that. And then, how much shit do we give each other in the military? You know what I mean? It's needed. It's needed sometimes. Kick somebody in the ass and say, hey, bud, you're dwelling on a little too much. Let's move on. Let's go fishing. Let's get over this. Let's take on life as we're supposed to. We're trained to do. We're trained to move forward. Bad shit happens, and to move forward in life. So
I love it. There's a time and place for all that. And again, figure. I mean, your peers, and again, you said in the military, I also know that they grind on you, they grind on you, they grind on you, they grind on you, and then someone has their moment, and then it's like usually there's a comeback moment in there too. But you got to figure those pieces out, and I those are those lives. No, I appreciate your point, brother.
Yeah,
Miss Rachel, what do you got?
So favorite taco is steak. Love me some street tacos. They're delicious. As far as what stood out to me, I really, really enjoyed the creative parts of this evening. The poetry, the music. Mikele, your music is incredible. I'm not usually like a huge country music fan, but I really, really enjoyed every single one of those songs. So thank you for that. I think the last hour and 26 minutes, I've just been feeling very emotional for some reason. And a lot of that probably has to do with just all the creativity. And I think it opens up a part of us as humans that allows us to really be more in touch with our emotions. And so I'm incredibly grateful for all of the creativity tonight. But then also, just to reiterate what Mikele said, thank you for the opportunity just to be here amongst incredible people tonight.
You're amazing, Miss Rachel. We
Thank
appreciate you. And again, one of those fancy little moments that we get to have when there's a connection, and we thrive on that connection that we build on this show and in this network. And so, Miss Kimmer.
I'd like to thank you all for tonight. It was a really good show. I enjoy meeting our guests tonight, and I'll be looking forward to following up with you at some time in the future. But I like to end with it. We will fight. Emotional healing is something that I need, and I'm proceeding, but still at times I recede. But it's okay, because there is still growth. I never understood that there had to be both. I'm learning to take the good with the bad, that there will be happiness with the sad, the ups with the downs, and the smiles along with the frowns. And it makes me to believe that there will be things for me to achieve day in and day out. I'll prepare for the drought, but I'll never give up. That's what life is about. To enjoy myself for the company of others. It's give and take. I won't allow myself to be smothered by you, or especially by me. This too is a lesson I now see. I no longer need to pinch myself to see if I'm alive. I'll just have to check in on my archives, my books or the other things that I have done, whether it be a bitch to accomplish or a lot of fun. I am fortunate that with my growth I have a vision, and sharing with you have become my mission. I would like for you to grow along with me, because I bet you too want to be free. I love the fact that I'm able to share all of my struggles that I'm able to bear, because we know at times we need one another, even when the words are hard to utter. I know you'll be here for me as I am for you. What a feeling. I hope you feel it too. Believe it and hold on tight, because together we will fight.
You're such a blessing, Miss Kimmer. Thank you for all your message. You forgot to tell us your favorite taco though.
Oh, my favorite taco. Gee, I like them all except the ones with fish, crawdads.
I love it. I love it.
You know, steak. I'm all into the steak.
All right.
I'll take that.
Miss Eichmann.
Thanks for letting me go after Kimmer. I want to thank you for that one.
Someone has to.
I know, really, after Kimmer, that is amazing because she speaks from the heart. I mean, thank you for including me in your circle, Kimmer. I'm very lucky to be in that circle. Carne asada street tacos, you can't with extra cilantro. That's, so it sticks in your teeth when you're done and you can't get it. That's good. That's good tacos. So Rachel, thank you so much. You're very strong. You're very brave. You're so sharing and supportive. It's amazing. I don't know why we didn't find you sooner than we did. It's so cool to have you on here. Thank you for coming on. And I'm sure now you're in our circle. You won't get out easily. So we'll be around and you'll be around. That's awesome. Mikele, thank you for coming on. I listened to your music as soon as I saw your name in the schedule. And I was touched from the minute I heard it. It's such good music. And we say all the time, where are these people not, at the top of all the charts? Why do they get pushed to the side? We know why. And that's okay because we found you and we will share you everywhere as well.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. But biggest thing is thank you for reminding all of us that we need to keep living for all of them. Saying names, living memories, sharing memories, remembering the good times. We have to do that. And I guess when I get crabby, I'm going to forget that because not everybody gets to get crabby at this point. I'm going to also thank our sponsors, Catch 22, Poem Speak, Operation Texas Strong, and Bottle Breachers. Contagion Effect will be back on there next month as well. Thank you. These are our bottle breachers. We have these things. See that in the background? That little spent 50 caliber made into a bottle opener and then labeled with our lovely, lovely green, so that we won't be unseen. We got those left, and then actually, I need 4 of them. By the way, I think I have 4 left here, but my son got a little crazy about them, but I couldn't get him to quite commit to this one.
And I don't want no one to cry, but tell them if I don't survive, I was born free.
Someone else stopped it. All right, so I mean it's cool because the song and it's cool because the little bottle opener grenade, but it's so cool to see your own logo get put on that thing in a video. Very cool. So I want to thank all of our guests. You guys, we had a ton of people. Our little likes, they keep coming in later and later, but the people I saw popping in tonight, there were a ton of them just on the couple platforms that I was on. So I just want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank you guys for being here. And I seriously can't wait to share more next time. Thank you.
What a blessing this evening has been. We appreciate everyone that came to watch, listen, participate. I feel like we've grown our family one more time. Thanks for everything, you guys. If you can hang around a little longer, great. If you got to go, we completely understand. We do a little collab piece or just kind of more talk after the show. But if you got to go, we completely understand. We appreciate all you and the time you've given us. Make sure you check us out tomorrow at 4:30. We have our WeP3 weekly debrief where we share just specifically about the People's Patriot Project, where we're going, what we're doing, how we're going to do it. You'll be hearing more about Rachel and Mikele tomorrow at that time. Next week, we have Mark Green and Malachias Gaskin. Oh, my gosh. It's a good one. You don't want to miss it. You'll see us, and just Go out and find, what are you doing? Let's grow. Patriot Pride.